All right, it is Sunday, March 4th. It's 10:28 a.m. and today is definitively my last day in Chiang Mai. And not even, because actually I just have a couple more hours here. I'm actually headed to the airport probably in about an hour, maybe a little less. My flight to Ho Chi Minh is at 1:40 p.m. today, so I'm leaving. And I wanted to kind of record some of my thoughts on that, just reflections on Chiang Mai. So this is likely to be a bit more of a monologue video. I apologize for anyone who hates that, but this is for me, so meh. Chiang Mai has honestly been really awesome. I would go as far as saying that I have kind of fallen in love with Chiang Mai in this month. I don't know whether or not that means that this is a place that I would like actually live year-round, honestly. I think that based on my understanding, Chiang Mai is a very seasonal place. It's nice a couple months in the winter, you know, like the November, December, January time frame, and as you get further out it gets hotter and more polluted. So I don't think I would stay here all year, but this is absolutely somewhere that I could see myself coming back to on a regular basis, you know, like every winter or something like that. Now I hesitate to say that now because this has been my first stop, and there are undoubtedly many other really amazing places in the world to see and to visit and to live in. In particular, if I'm not in Southeast Asia, South America is a great place to go in the wintertime. A lot of the nomads and expats seem to follow a fairly similar migratory pattern, actually. It's like Europe in the summer, and then they end up in like Southeast Asia or South America in the winter. And I could definitely see myself doing that. I could see myself coming back to Chiang Mai for a month every year. Not sure entirely what the end of this 2018 year looks like for me. I actually may end up in South America, but there's a lot of things to love about Chiang Mai. I think the people here are amazing, and by that I mean both the expats that you meet, the digital nomads you meet. The locals are incredibly friendly, incredibly kind people. Like I've left here with such a strong, good impression of Thai people, and it's probably fair to say that my impression would be different if, you know, for example, I had gone to Bangkok. I don't know, right? Like people in Chiang Mai describe Bangkok as an incredibly different place. Most people in Chiang Mai, most locals in Chiang Mai don't like Bangkok at all. So maybe I've just gotten a very particular slice of Thai culture, but whatever slice that is, I really enjoy. I really, really like it, and I found it, you know, I have in this month, I have found it initially challenging to adapt to a new setting, to being abroad, to traveling, to figuring out how to work and enjoy myself, kind of in a balance. And initially I would say I was pretty scared. I think that like the first couple days I had a couple moments where I just realized like, holy, what the actual F, what the heck am I doing out here, right? Like, what have I done, right? Like, would have been so much simpler to just stay where I was in the States, right? Or on some level, probably would have been simpler to not quit my job in the first place, right? Lots of doubts, lots of just little fears, and what I found over the course of this month is that a lot of that has disappeared. And I'd say it's probably disappeared for multiple reasons, but overall, I feel like I'm generally getting better at adapting and getting better at trusting my own instincts, trusting myself, feeling a little more comfortable with following my gut, and then being okay with the discomfort, being okay with the uncertainty, because I think I'm showing myself again and again that yes, while there are sometimes those moments of doubt and fear, there are absolutely, they pass. And there are absolutely amazing experiences to be found on the other side of that, basically of that boundary of the comfort zone. And I'm very glad that I pushed it. I'm very glad that I've come to Chiang Mai. I've met a lot of great people, a lot of great friends here. I didn't expect to make good friends out here, honestly. I kind of on some level expected that I'd be very alone and isolated traveling. And what I think I've also proven to myself out here in Chiang Mai is that it is very possible to make real and meaningful friendships with people. You know, my roommates, for example, definitely feel very close to. You know, many of the friends that I've seen multiple times over the course of my stay here, I feel very close to, and I very much hope that I will see them again. I think I will, because many of them are European, so I'll likely see them as they travel the world or as I travel to their home countries. And I think it's a very cool feeling to realize that I now have, you know, a network of friends all over the world. That was kind of true before, but it's very, very cool to feel like I'm going through the world and meeting other travelers and just really getting to know other very interesting people who will welcome me with open arms to a new place anywhere I go. And yeah, I'm honestly, I'm very sad to leave. It's very sentimental for me to be leaving this place, but I'm headed off to Ho Chi Minh, and I don't know if I've talked much about what I've heard about Ho Chi Minh, also known as Saigon, which is easier to say, so I'm just gonna go with Saigon from now on. But by contrast, Saigon is an incredibly different city. At least my like mental impression of Saigon is that it's a completely different city. Saigon is like the Bangkok of Vietnam. It's not going to be like Chiang Mai. You know, Chiang Mai is like kind of a midway town. It's like, yes, it's a populated city in Thailand, but like by population size, right? Like even though it's the second most populous city in Thailand, the drop in population, like just absolute population between Chiang Mai and Bangkok is many, many, many millions. Like it's hilarious how big the step is. And as a result, I think you end up with kind of a small town feeling in some ways in Chiang Mai. You definitely have a sense that many of the locals here have not done much outside of Chiang Mai. They haven't really left. They haven't really thought much about leaving. They haven't necessarily had the chance or the opportunity to think about the world at large. Though some of them are people who have come from Bangkok and who have settled in Chiang Mai and decided never to leave. So some of them have chosen this life. Saigon is supposed to be much more bustling. It's a very real city. It's very busy. Chiang Mai is a very laid-back place. You know, like the attitude of the locals here, as well as the attitude of the expats and the nomads here, is kind of more laissez-faire. And so, you know, in my time here, I've been getting probably 6 hours of real work done every day on average, which actually isn't bad when you consider that, like, in a typical 8-hour workday, you don't really work 8 hours. But I felt pretty okay about that out here. I haven't felt pressured to work more. The environment is just very lax. It's like, hey, let's all enjoy life a little bit. And for me, as someone who has classically been very, very on the go and very, I don't know what the word is. I used to be extremely unbalanced in the work direction. Maybe that's the way I'll put it. Experiencing that has been probably very good for me. I wonder if it's pushed me over onto the other side of the spectrum. But by contrast, Saigon is supposed to be an extremely, like the Vietnamese people in general, I'm told, are extremely diligent. That they work very hard. That the general environment I'm going to find in Saigon is going to be very very well. It will lend itself well to productivity. It will really push me. I'm told. I've met some people who have said, "Wow, like Saigon was the most productive time of my life," and I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. Right, like part of that might be that there just wasn't that much to see in Saigon. Part of that is maybe just like the atmosphere, the people. Right, you can certainly meet people who inspire you to work and work harder, and push yourself more. And that's kind of what I'm expecting in Saigon. But I honestly still don't know what I'm going to find there. I've definitely heard people tell me that Saigon is an awful city. I've also had people tell me that Saigon is an amazing city. And I'm also really not sure what to make of that. It seems like there's not a lot of agreement there, and I would guess that it's just personal preference at the end of the day. Some people have told me that, the first couple weeks you spend in Saigon, you hate it. The next couple, you kind of, it starts to grow on you. And then the next couple after that, you start to love it. Unfortunately for me, I'm only staying 4 weeks. So, I might get to that tipping point. If that's really how it goes, I might just get to that tipping point. But yeah, I'm excited to see the difference. I'm excited to experience something new. I think the whole point of spending a month in different places in Asia, despite knowing that uprooting myself every month might be hard from a productivity standpoint, the whole point of doing that was so that I'd experience a lot of different kinds of work environments, different kinds of living situations, and it sounds like that's really what I'm getting by going from Chiang Mai to Saigon. So I'm happy that I'm going to get to experience that. A little bit nervous, I'm expecting that there's going to be a little more, just growing pains occasionally. Days where I wake up and I go, holy shit, what am I doing? But definitely feeling like I'm learning to handle that I can handle that. I don't fear it as much as maybe I did before. And I'm excited for what lies beyond that kind of mental barrier. So those are some loose thoughts on Chiang Mai. I would say if you're a digital nomad or an expat, you've never been here before, this is absolutely somewhere that I would recommend you live for at least a month. Ideally in like December, January, because by February it starts getting a little hotter and the haze starts picking up. But it's a beautiful place. I've been told that basically the amount of money you pay for what you get, doesn't get much better anywhere in the world. And that's definitely been my experience, right? You're paying so little money comparatively speaking to like US norms here. You're eating meals for like $2 a meal or less. You can even eat less, right? You can pay, anywhere between $100 and $300 a month in rent, right? And actually, the life you're living out here is not bad at all. It's pretty great, I would say. I have an apartment where it's service, people come and clean, right? If I spend $3 or $4 in a meal, I'm eating very nicely. I don't know about healthy. There are definitely a lot of vegan, vegetarian options out here. Those places are probably on the $4 to $5 a meal range. But definitely would say that you can live pretty well here for very cheap. So I think that it's worth a visit, worth a try for anyone considering traveling long term. So those are my thoughts. I'll probably be back with some more thoughts on Saigon as I land and as I get situated in my new environment. I'm actually living in a co-living and co-working space in Saigon, so I paid $600, a little less than $600 US for this place in Saigon. It's got a built-in community. The way they've advertised it, it sounds like it's a hub for tech entrepreneurship, which I'm actually on the fence about. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. To some level I left Silicon Valley to kind of get away from all that noise. But I think on the other hand, it will also be very interesting to see what that environment is like globally, rather than just in the hub of Silicon Valley. So very, very different working situation for me. from having roommates, right, and then like working at a coffee shops. Like I have a membership at a co-working space for the entire month, so in theory, I've already committed to that. And if I hate it, then I basically just have to burn money. But I'll be back with more thoughts on that later. This place called Mango Corner, and I've walked by here a couple times during my stay, but have never actually stopped and had anything. I have 67 baht left to my name, exactly, in cash, and this is where I've chosen to spend it. So, looks like the prices are a little more expensive than I thought. 69 baht might not be doable, but I'll see what I can do. Mangoes are getting really good here because they're starting to be in season, so it seems like a good last stop. Friendly attendant here has been kind enough to accept my 67 baht as tribute, even though I'm 2 baht short. So, yay! Leaving with exactly zero cash. Got like a mango smoothie frap thing with like, I think they called it milk sago. It's like these like little rice balls in some sort of milky thing. It's pretty good. Tastes kind of artificial, but I did see him put real mangoes in it, so, you know, whatever. Flying Vietjet Air, so I get to deal with budget airline famously bad customer service today, I think. Let's see. That was actually surprisingly painless. I wasn't sure how that was gonna go because I actually had 2 pieces of luggage I needed to check. So Vietjet has this policy where you get 1 carry-on bag, just 1. There's no like personal item whatsoever. It has to be 7 kilograms or under, and then past that, your checked-in bags have like a very strict weight limit. And when I was booking, they didn't have an option for me to choose like, oh, I want like this much weight across this many bags. And I wasn't sure if the weight limit actually applied across all bags that I checked. So I called Vietjet twice. The first time I got this lady who really didn't speak very good English, and I didn't really leave with more answers. I just left with more questions. The second time I called, someone with better English answered, and she told me that with a 25 kilogram weight allotment, I could check as many bags as I wanted so long as the total was under 25 kilograms. That seems to have been true. Actually, I got there and the total was 30 kilograms because my big ass check-in bag, it was like just full of stuff. So I was kind of like frantically moving things over into my backpack. And at a certain point, I think the attendant there, she just got kind of like annoyed. She was just like, okay, you've gone like through like 3 different tries here. I'm just gonna let you go with 27 kilograms. And what I think she also didn't notice, and I'm hoping that they don't check at the gate, is that my backpack is actually 10 kilograms right now, so I'm 3 kilograms over, which is like quite a lot of weight. It's like 1 kilogram to 2.2 pounds, so I have like an extra 6 pounds in my backpack. Hopefully no one notices. So I'm now at the Coral Executive Lounge in the Chiang Mai airport. This is an airport lounge in the international terminal, which I fortunately have access to because I have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and through that I have a Priority Pass membership. So one of the many perks of the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Highly recommend it for any travelers. But I get to chill out here for a couple hours for my flight, so just get some work done, eat some food. This is actually why I didn't eat very much before I left, so much excite. Okay, so this is a funny, momentous moment because this is the first time that I've found chicken satay in my time in Thailand, and it's here at the airport, in this airport lounge. And my guess is that chicken satay is either pretty Americanized, or it's not really common in northern Thailand, and maybe you see it more in Bangkok. But usually you see things like this as like meat on sticks in the street vendors, street markets. Usually not with like the peanut sauce though. So I just think it's funny. This is my first chicken satay experience in nearly 30 days. I've landed in Vietnam, and I've already had kind of a bit of mishap adventure since getting here. Everything that could go wrong, I feel like, went wrong in the last 20 minutes. But it's okay now. I just got through customs, well, not through customs, through border control, immigration. And basically I landed, and the Google Fi service, which I'm using, which I kind of rely on, apparently doesn't have coverage in Vietnam. I did not realize this. I just kind of assumed that they would have me covered here. Like, it was super easy in Thailand. I just landed and it connected me, and it was good. But I'm trying to find my luggage. But here, I landed, I waited a couple minutes, and then it said no coverage. And I was like, oh shit. So I'm still gonna have to figure out how I get to my new accommodations. I suppose I could potentially buy a SIM card here at the airport. That might work. And but anyway, I also get down here, and immigrations is like a clusterfuck here. So there's like visa on arrival counter, and everyone is kind of like sitting there waiting. And I have an e-visa for Vietnam, so I honestly wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. And everyone was kind of getting in that line. I was asking some people, like, you know, like, hey, like, what am I supposed to do here, right? Like, I'm supposed to jump in this, jump in that. People are all like, oh yeah, you have to go wait in this line, fill out a form, and then they're like, yeah, you sit here, they'll call you your name. It might take an hour and a half, and then you pay them through the visa. And I'm kind of confused because I'm like, wait, I think I already paid for my visa. I have this like thing on my phone which I've downloaded. I'm like, what is this? What is this? So I wait in the visa on arrival line, and I get through, and the guy at the counter says, you have an e-visa, just go. And I'm like, shit, okay. So I wasted a good 30 minutes. But I guess so long as I get through.
I'm gonna be in his video too. Hey!
What's your name? Where are you from?
Alex from Germany.
All right, Alex from Germany. Hello.
Hey, what's your name?
I'm Daniel.
Daniel?
Yes.
On the channel? You have a channel?
Not really, but you can look me up. Daniel Chiu, C-H-I-U.
Chiu?
Yeah, you might find this someday if I post it.
Okay, on Facebook?
Yeah. Anyway, I guess so long as you get through immigration doesn't really matter what happened, but that was kind of flustering. All right, I've survived the next stage, and my hair is getting progressively crazier. I'm just gonna leave it. But no, I'm not gonna leave it. Yeah, so I got through customs. That was fine. I had to buy a SIM card at the airport because the Wi-Fi was not sufficient for me to call an Uber. So I bought a SIM card here. Getting used to Vietnamese currency is interesting. So the currency exchange is like 22,000 Vietnamese dong to $1 US. So for example, when I booked my accommodations here, I had to pay about $600 US. That was 13 million Vietnamese dong, which feels like a lot of money, right? But it's actually not. Anyway, I bought a SIM card. It cost me 200,000 Vietnamese dong. I got like 4G unlimited. It's like less than $10 US, since Google is apparently failing me today. So, see how that goes. It's actually a lot less than I would pay for Google Fi. Anyway, I normally pay $20, $40, $50 a month for Google Fi. So, I guess I'm winning out in the end. But now to navigate to my new place by jumping into an Uber and hopefully showing up, and hopefully someone is actually there waiting for me, because I think the guy said that there's no staff working on Sunday, so theoretically he's sitting there waiting for me. But I have also taken a lot of time because I don't know how to navigate this airport. So fingers crossed. Alright, I'll record a little more video sometime later, but this is my new place, the courtyard area. Kitchen's a little bit messy right now, but it seems like it's very well equipped. They have a KitchenAid, pretty serious looking blender. Some, yeah, I mean, it's like a fully equipped kitchen. So, and I'm, apparently welcome to use whatever I want. So, that's cool. I can cook if I want to, though. It's very cheap here again, so it's probably, doesn't really make sense. But, in my room, it's upstairs. And apparently there are like 5 bedrooms, and I have one of them. And this is me, so I'm just on the 2nd floor, which is great, because my suitcase is really heavy, so getting it all the way up the stairs was not fun. But at least it was only 1 floor. And Marshall was telling me that this is, he thinks this is their best room. It's been like recently renovated, and actually this is the room that I think they advertise in their photos. I'm quite happy with this. This is nice. This is like, well, I need some AC because it's really hot in here. It's definitely a couple degrees hotter in Vietnam in general than it was in Thailand. But this is quite nice. It's more spacious than the room that I had in Thailand. I'm paying a little bit less than what I paid in Thailand as well. And the bathroom's not too bad, I think. I have my own bathroom, which is also great, right? Like, that's kind of like the minimum. It's like, do I have my own bathroom? And I do. The shower doesn't look so bad either, right? There are some flies in here. I'll have to figure that out, how they're getting in. It's annoying. Mosquitoes, definitely not flies, mosquitoes. Okay, worse than flies. But, oh, yeah, I have wall decoration. Actually, I think this is kind of funny. Wow, why is this not focusing? There we go. I have a white canvas. It's a wall decoration. And yeah, it's quite nice here, actually. Let me turn the camera on. I toured a little earlier, and Marshall, who's the owner and the CEO, showed me around. He showed me the co-working space as well as the co-living space. This is the co-living space. It's kind of separated a little bit from the co-working space, but everyone who lives here also has a membership to the co-working space. Sounds like they've got a pretty good community of people here, and he was telling me that he's careful about who he. Wow. Okay, hold on. This AC is just. I need to figure out this AC control. God damn. Nope. Okay, I have zero clue how this works. Poop. All right, I'll figure it out later. As I melt. Sounds like they're actually fairly picky about who they kind of let into the community here. So he's really trying to make sure that this community stays sort of tech oriented. So he's looking for people who are working on tech projects, developers, people kind of adjacent to that. So apparently there are a few designers, there's some digital marketers. But it sounds to me like I will actually be pretty at home here. This is exciting. And it's also very well located, which I wasn't sure about. Honestly, I still don't know that much about the city here. But he's telling me that basically, if I go out and I walk to the right for 5 minutes, I get to basically the center of town. There's like some landmarks there. It sounds like there's a huge amount of like great food very close by as well, which I am also excited about. It almost sounds to me like in a month of being here living here, I almost won't like necessarily explore further than like a block away from where I live, just because there's so much good stuff here. So I'm really excited about that. And the space downstairs is nice. The co-working space looks decent. I'm a little unsure of how many people are actually going to be there, right? Like, it sounds like it actually gets quite crowded. And one of my experiences in Chiang Mai was with a co-working space where basically by like 9:15 a.m. you couldn't get a seat. So he was telling me that they're very careful to make sure everyone gets a seat, so I should be fine. But actually the worst case scenario is I have my own desk, and a real desk, which I didn't have in my other room, and a chair. So that's quite nice, actually. Though I do intend to be social and work out with everyone else so that I meet people. But yeah, this is definitely very different. You know, like I'm in the middle of a city and I'm not normally a city person, so we'll have to see how this goes, but I am pretty excited that this is happening and that I'm kind of in the middle of everything. In probably about 45 minutes, I'm gonna go get dinner with Marshall and whoever else is here that we can kind of muster. So kind of get my first mosquitoes. Kind of get my first taste of what the community here is like, and get a sense for what life is like here for the next 30 days. Really excited.